Hi, I'm Josh with Tactical Tech, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these power strip table clips. Now, these were somewhat of an evolution of hardware, so let's get right into it. Basically, all it is holding a power strip off to the edge of the table. If you want to put it on top of the table without it screwing around, moving around, and all that, you can just snap it in right there. Now, what we're using are tablecloth clips with just straight up button fasteners and a couple of furniture bumpers to keep it from bouncing around, and that's pretty much it. So like I said, this was an evolution of hardware, and in order to make this we're gonna have to have tools. I got a drill, I got a hammer, some kind of punch. I'm just using a screw as a punch. I got some self tapping screws, number 6 size. I'll get into why I have that later. We're going to need one of those per power strip, more than likely. We got a 6/32 tap bit. Yeah, I actually bought 2 of them because these things break all the time. I got some WD-40 to help keep this thing from breaking. I'll get into that a little later. We got 2 tablecloth holders from Maxdot. I bought these on Amazon, and they're the spring kind. Pretty sturdy. Quantity of 2 per power strip, of course. We got a total of 4 number 6 or 6/32 1/4" screws with pan head. These are actually hard drive screws. Probably use some different varieties, but just make sure that you got, the 6/32 that matches up with 6/32. Really, the screws, the threads are kind of optional. I'll get into why later on. You could potentially use rivets, but we got a total 4 of those either way. We also got the fastener snap stud, quantity number of 4. It's kind of what they look like. We also got the furniture bumpers, quantity of 8 per power strip, and these happen to be 11 millimeters in diameter. You can go up to about 1/2 inch thick. You do want to make sure they're between 5 and 6 millimeters high. We also got another one that I accidentally ordered, thinking they'd do in this circumstance. They are only 3.5 millimeters high. I realized that they didn't work out too well, but they worked out for a different purpose, and need a total of 2 of them. They just create a little bumper right there to keep the power strip from, slipping, and give you a little bit of space for this screw right here if you happen to use screws. The rivet will need a little space too. For the power strip itself, you're going to need 2 M3 6mm button head screws. Really, you could probably use some different screws, but basically these are just really small screws. You're going to need a total of 2 of those. I just used M3 because I'm in Germany and that's what they had at the hardware store. You're going to need the snap fastener socket. You only need 2 of those, however. You're going to need some lock washers with the outside tooth. It looks like little suns, basically, a total of 2 of them. I'm using 3/16 inner diameter, and I probably should have got a little bit smaller for that M3 screw, but we'll make do with what we have. And 2 M3 nuts. So, what I'm going to start with over here is my hammer and punch. And I got these things lined up. I got a total 96 I got to knock out, so I'm going to do it in an assembly line fashion where I'm using the same tool to get all of these on the scrap piece of wood done at the same time. Now, I already got this because I told you this was sort of an evolution, and this is like the latest incarnation. These are already drilled on the front, already have the threads in there, and like I said, if you want, you can just use the drill to go straight through and rivet it in. And in this case, I'm electing to use the threaded screws, but you want to get these ones done first with this tipped on the edge. I'll get into why these things are threaded. Basically, we had in our last incarnation, these were just screwed into the tablecloth clip itself and placed into the little slots. Kind of hard to get in and out, and we'd have to readjust these every time we'd pull them out of this IKEA bag they were actually stored in. Try to get it just right so it's not too tight, too loose. This one's way too loose, so I'd have to take it and readjust it a little bit. and then put it back in there. Still too loose, and it'd take about good 20 seconds per, which takes a lot of time when setting up top. The original concept had this kind of clamp, and this thing took forever to screw into the table. So really like these little clips. So anyway, getting right into it, I'd take this tap. We go about a third of the way up on this top piece, right about in the middle on the side piece, and we're just going to make a little score in there so the self-tapping screw has something to dig into. So that's about right there. Get that, try to get it right about there. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm not getting paid enough for this, and I'm coming out of pocket on this, so you get what you get. But these things are very forgiving and have a lot of play. So the reason I got these self-tapping screws is originally I was hoping they would actually thread and do everything this thing's doing. To include drill without breaking, and if it did break, not a big deal, I just throw it away. But turns out the thread is actually different than 6/32, so it didn't work out for me, but it did make the hole, and it did save me from going through a bunch of drill bits, because this thing can actually go through about 3 or 4 of these, and after it becomes dull, I just throw it in my recycled trash. So anyway, let's get started. Just gonna find that little blip we did, start drilling. And bring it back out. Like I said, I can use the same screw for about 3 or 4 of these before it gets too dull. If I really wanted to waste some video time, I'd go ahead and do all these in sequence, but I'm only going to stick with 2 for right now. I'll go ahead and switch this over to the tap bit. Grab that real quick, and grab this WD-40. Ideally, I'd grab a vacuum. In fact, I'll probably go ahead and do that, because it's going to get messy. Alright, put that off the side. I'm going to pop this off the wood so I'm not drilling into the wood with this thing. But I'm also going to put just a little bit of WD-40 there. Not much. Just takes a little dab. And that'll help that tap keep it from breaking when it gets stuck. I'm going to try to get that in the hole right there. Just real slowly. Real slow trigger squeezes. Watch your fingers. Keep that going until it loosens up and you know you're threaded all the way through. And then you just back it out the other way. There you go. You got some threads in that one. Do the same thing right there. Do forward. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey kind of deal. And bring it back out. Now you got nothing but metal shavings and WD-40 all over this thing, and we're going to have to get that WD-40 off, so it'd be great to have a good degreaser, but right now I got soap and water, so let's hope that works. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. I'm going to dry this off, or try to. Alright. Watch your fingers, they snap and they bite. So we'll come over here and start work on this. I'll get my screwdriver out. And I'm going to start assembling these things together. Just take this, take the screw, put it right in there. And in order to tighten this thing down, you turn it to the right. I've actually had to tell people that before. Alright, so we'll speed this up a little bit. Alright, make that good and tight. And I'll go back to this real quick because where'd it go? So I did try to rivet these down before. Problem is these things are really loose when I used the type of rivet gun I was using. Didn't really like it because the rivet gun edge set right flush with this button. Maybe if I had a smaller one that set right inside the button, it would have been good to go. But I just couldn't get it tight enough, and these things were already threaded from the previous incarnation, so I just stuck with threaded variant rather than trying to rivet them in. And the good news is if we have to retrograde and go back to the original design, it's still in the cards, we can go and do that. So I'm really not too confident that these buttons will last for too long. Really would like to use something like the old K-Pot pull the dot fasteners, but you get what you get on Amazon. Alright, so with these furniture bumpers, we get the 5mm high, total of 4 of them, probably about a 1/4 inch away from the button on each side, and that just keeps this power strip from flopping around too much and coming loose off the button. So this is why you want to get a good degreaser to get that WD-40 off that was necessary for the tap bit. So these things actually adhere to the metal, because they're hopefully going to be adhering to the metal for a good lifetime. So that's about good right there. Then we get these shorter ones right on the very tip of this thing. And I'll go ahead and get this other one knocked out later. Now we'll work on the power strip. Forgot to grab out of the box. So I got the power strip, and if you got a nug to put this all together before you start working on it or off to the side doing that sort of assembly line thing, that would be great time-saving activity. So we grab the screw, put it right through the fastener socket. I'm going to put this lock washer right there. Just barely put this nut on there so it's threaded in there. Oh no. Alright. Oh no again. Alright, once it's on there, you want to get this lock washer on the opposite side of the plastic of this little eyelet or whatever you call it. We'll try to get it in there, finesse it in there. Might need to get the screwdriver out. Alright, cool, that might work out. Where'd my screwdriver go? Now what I'm going to do is try to get enough pressure on that nut down there in the lock washer so it doesn't move with the screw. And hopefully I'll be able to tighten this down. So I'm just putting a little bit of leverage with my thumb on the fastener, the button. It looks like that's going to be good. It ain't going anywhere. Do the same thing with the other one. Ain't going anywhere. Try to get that thing seated down. Bring it up. And again, put some more pressure on the edge. Give it a little bit of leverage. And get it good and tight on there. And we'll be able to take this off later on. I'm not sure if rivets would work out in this scenario. These things would seem to work out. Now something I want to go over before moving on is these are Vct Usp 600 power strips. I've been using these for several years now, probably close to a decade, and the cool feature about these things is they operate with 110 to 250 volts of electricity. Like I said, I've been using these for pretty close to a decade, haven't had too many problems, but then again, I haven't been able to test out the actual surge capacity of it. There is no voltage conversion, but there is plug conversion or plug adaptation, for universal plugs, different types of international connectors. On the surface end, you got the NEMA 5-15. So very good power strip, really recommend for worldwide deployable Army units. So now that I got all of that done, I'm going to go ahead and take this and pack it up in my power distribution kit. Now I got about 3 of these per battalion, for my battalion, and each one of them is a box with 12 power strips. One of these IKEA bags full of these power strip clips, and we got about 24 or exactly 24 of them in this bag. It contains a couple of extension cords, a couple 50 footers, a couple 25 footers, and should be 100 footer somewhere in here. And I also got these extension cords that are able to go up to 20 amp, run about, I want to say 36 feet long, and they have inline power outlets every 6 feet. This allows me to run this along a string of tables, up to 6 tables, each 6 foot wide, and put it under the table and plug one of these hanging off the edge of each table into the outlet and give everybody power. These are available from badassextensioncords.com, and really good buy. So I got 2 of them in here, and being that this is an international power distribution kit, I got a couple of international plug adapters. One in my hand right here takes it from a BS1363, adapts it over to your NEMA 5-15 plug, so it plugs into any one of these. And I want to say I got about 12 of them per kit, per type of adapter. This one's a CE 7/7, usually used in Europe going over the NEMA. We also got in here somewhere Italian converter. It's a CEI 23-50, and we also, in case the emus attack Australia, we got Australian plug adapters that are AS 3112s over the NEMA 5-15s. So 12 of them each, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got to say about that. From Tactical Tech, this is Josh Heinrich. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, or whatever you guys do. I don't know. Have a nice day.